Hello, my name is Paula Coomer, and I am the author of two food books. One is called Blue Moon Vegetarian, and the other is Blue Moon Vegan. And in both of these books, I introduce the vegan lifestyle. And what I want to talk about right now has to do with protein in the diet. Pretty much the first question anybody asks me when they find out that I'm a vegan is, how do you get your protein? That question gets asked of people like me so much that it's actually a little bit of a joke in the vegan and vegetarian community. And the answer to that question is pretty simple, and that is it's easy to get enough protein. In fact, most of us living in the United States have an excess of protein in our diets. And that excessive protein is the cause of a number of ailments and illnesses in humans, not the least of which is high blood pressure, interestingly enough. And it has to do with the fact that our kidneys are only designed to process so much protein at a time. And if you eat a burger that's, say, half a pound, you're probably getting about twice as much protein as your kidneys can handle at one time. And so it kind of blows out your microvasculature and leads to high blood pressure. So all of us could do with a little bit less protein, unless, of course, you're pregnant or happen to be a bodybuilder, and that's a subject for another videotape. But so what I want to talk about is how you get protein in everyday foods. If you happen to get a copy of Blue Moon Vegan, there's an extensive list of protein sources in the back. And what you'll be surprised to find is that even a lowly stalk of celery or a carrot is going to have 1 gram of protein. Something like kale is going to have 3 to 4 grams per cup. Surprisingly enough, cabbage is going to have a couple of grams per cup. You can also get protein in sources like nuts. I happen to be fond of almonds and eat usually a handful of almonds every day. They also give you other great things like calcium and magnesium. Seeds are another great source. Pumpkin seeds are a staple in our house, and we put them in everything from salads to dressings. There's also something out of Japanese culture called tempeh. If you haven't run across tempeh yet, I highly recommend it. It's a fermented cake. It's interesting that almost every culture has some kind of fermented food, and that's because we need those microorganisms in our gut. You probably have heard of things like sauerkraut and kimchi and yogurt. Those are all fermented foods, and they give us necessary micronutrients for help in digestion and processing of other nutrients. But tempeh, the one I use, happens to be a combination of a number of seeds and legumes, including soy, sunflower seeds, millet, and a few other things. And so this actually serves as a great meat substitute. When you crumble it up, it has the texture of ground beef. It also has a little bit of a mushroom flavor to it. So if, like me, you're allergic to mushrooms, sad to say, I can crumble up a little tempeh in a dish and convince myself that I'm having mushrooms and meat. Not that I necessarily need to convince myself of the latter part. Also, nut butters. Nut butters are a great way to get protein, and also some really necessary healthy fats. You probably have heard about saturated fat and trans fat as being really, really bad for the body, but monosaturated fats and mid-chain fatty acids, or I'm sorry, mid-chain fats, such as you would find in coconut oil, are actually really good for the body. In fact, mid-chain fatty acids, or the mid-chain fats, are processed much in the same way as complex carbohydrates. So your body uses them really efficiently and really quickly, and they don't get stored. Other things that you can work with are like garbanzo beans. A lot of people say they don't like garbanzos, but it's amazing the ways that you can morph them. We use them in everything from sandwich spreads to soups to we actually cook them and then roast them and turn them into a crunchy snack. Also legumes, the lowly legume that everybody tends to make fun of for, certain digestive reasons. And the great thing about legumes, though, is that if you eat them often enough, your body actually produces the enzyme that you need to digest them so that they don't cause you to bloat and don't cause gas. Another thing that we use in our household is something called hemp protein, and we put this into smoothies and shakes to give ourselves, once in a while, we'll start feeling like we need an extra boost of protein, or maybe we've been camping a lot where we've been really physically active, all day long, or maybe we've been working on the house or something like that and we feel like we need an extra boost. Hemp protein comes from the cousin to the marijuana plant, so it's always, whenever I talk about this, there's always a little giggling and stuff like that, but the truth is that hemp seed has no THC in it, or virtually none. But it has a really outstanding high quality protein that is the most easily digested protein there is for the human body. It's also very high in omegas, perfectly balanced in omegas. It not only has a very high quality protein, in fact, hemp protein is the easiest protein for the body to digest, almost as if that protein was made specifically for our body. It also has a perfectly balanced and very high amount of omegas, which you probably know are necessary to protect your heart from disease, and also very good for the brain, very good for the cognition, and is thought to have a role in preventing dementia, but also contains a really high quality and high amounts of fiber. Which, as you know, fiber is necessary for gut health and also for keeping our greater blood vessels clear of plaque. So that's it. If you think that you're not getting enough protein on your vegan diet, think again, because you probably are. And in the back of Blue Moon Vegan also is a formula for helping you calculate exactly how much protein you need according to your age and to your weight and your activity level. Thank you.